This is Open Forum with Citizen MKO. My name is Matthew Kofi O'Connor, and this is Open Forum with Citizen MKO. We are about people, issues, ideas, and solutions. And like we say, wherever this flag is flowing, we take care of our own. We want to take care of how we are going to have money to be able to address our needs as a Akwa Ibom state if we have issues of derivation or fact allocations or whatever. Today we are looking at the blue economy, palm produce, airline and aviation businesses. And let me go to a man that when he told me about how he started life, I was held spellbound. And people may not know that Professor Azai Omana is an agriculturist, even has a degree in agriculture. In a nutshell, Prof, tell us about your journey in the agricultural sector very briefly, and then I'll take you on the oil palm sector and what we can do. We are going to be very specific. We are going to hit nails on their head. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I finished secondary school in Holy Family in 1961.
Awesome. I wasn't born.
And I immediately got into the School of Agriculture, Umudike, as an agri assistant in training. 1962. In that 1962, after qualifying as an agri assistant, I was one of those that helped Malaysia to get palm seedlings from Ibesin and Benin. And you know now that Malaysia is the largest exporter of palm oil. And you see what they do with palm fronds and other things in terms of tourism industry. And Nigeria buys palm oil from Malaysia today. Now, if you see a person like me, I've been to Malaysia more than twice to see what they're doing with what they got from us.
How did you feel when you saw the difference between the giver and the taker?
You feel like an incompetent. You feel stupid. You know that you have people that have the resources. If you go to Benin and look at what it was, the Oil Palm Research Institute. It was the best in the world in the 60s. And you see the dilapidation.
Were they managed by the whites?
Oh. No, they were not managed by whites.
So what is wrong with us now?
We are deteriorating. We are not interested in national development. We are running away from development of, what should I call it? In nations to developing persons. We are a government of persons, not a government of institutions.
Now, let's do this, Prof. We need solution. We are about people, issues, ideas, and solutions. Akwa Ibom has some areas of comparative advantage in several ways. And one of them is still the oil palm sector. And then to nail it, remember Aqua Palm, where the World Bank came and invested, and it was one of the biggest places, one of the choice places for people to work and earn a living. And when they left, it became something else. It's been rebranded as Dakada Oil Palm, whatever, Limited. And then we also have the coconut plantation, the coconut refinery. We have the palm oil factory at the back. Looking at the fact that palm business in Akwa Ibom is not something we need pilot schemes to come and show us. And with the pains that you have seeing Malaysia prosper with what you were part of those that handed over seedlings to them, what should we do now to harness the palm produce business for the state government to make earnings from there, not just from the Dakada oil palm sector, but generally across the state, because these things have been taken away every day by non-indigenous who are even giving some money to our people to even invest in that industry.
And what we need to do is go back to oil palm rehabilitation. Now, sometimes when we talk history, it looks like we are looking backward. Palm Produce Board. Palm Produce Board was the institution that helped Eastern Nigeria to be the largest exporter of palm oil and palm kernel. Palm Produce Board. Now, Okpara came with a great revolution. And the revolution was to help extension workers go to help Nigerians to be self-sufficient in oil palm plantations. And people were investing in it. Now, I want to let you know that University of Nigeria, Nsukka, was built on product of Palm Produce Board. Palm Produce Board was established in Calabar because this area was the largest palm belt. Now, part of it, the compensation was to build an army barracks at Ibawa and a university at Nsukka. So we need to talk about substantive things. Our people have no idea of history, and that is why the military state history should not be taught in schools. So if we want to be self-sufficient, this is a palm belt, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, part of Abuja. This is palm belt. So if we plant oil palm, if we plant raffia palms, if we do this, now raffia palms, remember, is what the colonialists used to make gunpowder.
Interesting.
Yes, they were exporting that thing from us. Now we don't have raffia palm again.
Okay, Prof, let's do this. I want to stay with you before I go to Captain. Now, we have the coconut plantation, which is said to have been 11,000 hectares and about 2 million seedlings or so planted, which, according to the former governor, Mbiam, did not allow it to yield, and the factory has been there, not used. I heard His Excellency then, former Governor Dio Emmanuel, say that that factory, that refinery, can refine palm kernel without changing a pan, with the non-availability of coconuts to crush, which we need about 300,000 to 1 million nuts every day. Can we recommend to government that the coconut refinery in Padenin should be converted to be used as a palm produce refinery where we can stop all this movement, shipment of palm produce elsewhere, and we don't have any returns?
What I can say is that what can be done to help us turn our wealth into both domestic wealth and exported goods,
okay,
to bring about sufficiencies for our citizens. We have a palm, palm produce company in Abak.
Yeah, palm
mill industry is supposed to produce soaps, palm kernel oil, turn the palm kernel chaff into poultry feeds, mix it after you finish grinding this thing. So there were multi-purpose lines, and they were running. They used hexane in producing this thing, but after some time, the hexane was sold and the money used for politics.
Okay, now speak to the...
So the palm, the oil palm,
yes.
I mean the coconut,
refinery.
I've not been there. I don't know how it can be converted.
The governor said so. I heard former governor say so.
If it can be converted, there is nothing wrong with having multiple industries that would help employ citizens of this state and generate wealth for the state.
Captain Augustine Okun, you are a farmer and you are here and there meeting with the real people, and you've seen the challenges in the sector. We want to solve problems. Our people hardly want to invest in agriculture. Most of them are into hotel and building mansions and all of that. What would be your recommendation based on what Prof has said? What should the government and the organized private sector do now to help Akwa Ibom State tap from the palm belt that we are, instead of felling them down and planting something that will never yield?
Okay. I think, and I want to say categorically, we have enough production capacity in Akwa Ibom. Some private, some government, and they can be rehabilitated very quickly. What we don't have is that we do not have enough raw material to feed any one of these in a sustainable manner.
That's right.
And so our first call of duty is bring enough raw material to make any of those factories viable. Even if we convert it, and I'm not going to talk about conversion because I do not know what the technical implications will be converting something that was meant for coconut into palm oil.
I was quoting the governor, the former governor.
Okay, so, but what we need to do is have enough
Raw materials,
enough fruits, palm fruits, to feed the factory. And how do we get it? We must plant. We don't have. When I was growing up, if you look out on the horizon, all you see is palm. If you stand out here and look, you don't see. You may see a few, but those few that you see are so tall. They are 40 years old, and those
Some 100.
That's
don't have
rehabilitation.
enough capacity to plant them or to harvest them. So we have to plant new ones. And what is the formula? If I were governor or if I were in a position,
Yes.
I would say first formula is give every Akwa Ibom person a stand of new palm tree.
Palm tree.
So if we are
Palm seed,
1 million people in Akwa Ibom,
Yes.
plant 1 million
Palm seed.
palm seed, so that you can say, this is for you. This is for you, my daughter. This is for you, my son. If we are 10 million people, plant 10 million so that one person will have one. That is as a starting point. Then let's go
Yes.
to the next year and we plant some more. Then we have 2 million. Then we have 10 million. And that is how we can have enough raw materials to feed the factories. I some years ago, in fact, not too long ago, I think within 5 years ago, I visited Air Marshal Sika Redworks factory in his village in Ibesigo. I was amazed at the capacity that he had there as a private citizen.
Yeah.
His complaint was he didn't have enough raw materials to use. So the factory at best was working only maybe one day in a week.
Imagine that.
And going all the way to Abia State, to Imo State, Cross River to get materials to feed the factory. We must plant. That is the starting point. It's only after we've had excess, we can't even have excess. Then we feed one factory. I've talked about the one in Air Marshal Redworks place. I'm not sure the state now that is late, but Prof has also talked about the one in Abak. I think all the problems that we have is that there is not enough to feed any of those factories. And if we have enough raw materials, the factories will become viable.
You have given the solution. We hear when we heard about desegregation, we thought it was that time that I think even Shagari and thereafter tree planting 2 million trees and all of that. In Akwa Ibom State, the advocacy that has been dropped right here, which I'm sure Prof has agreed, is that we should make palm plantation a scheme by government and by individuals to see that we can set a target that this year we need to plant 1 million palm trees, seedlings. We need to have that target to be able to meet up and see how we can harness the billions that have been put into the coconut refinery, which is still an issue. I don't want to go to what we did from the flag off, and I think that is a very better way to leave it.